Hey guys, this is Not Lammers Invoked 101. Welcome back, and today we're going to be taking a look at a long overdue deck profile, and that is Magistus. Now, I've actually had this deck sitting in a box since Genesis Impact came out. I've been kind of slowly but surely trying to work on it, and I found it the other day, and as well as a few other decks that have been sitting on my desk, including Urzardic, which I'll have to make sure I didn't profile that yet so that I can get that out to you guys as well. Yeah, I'm going to be playing some catch up on some stuff that kind of got shuffled around whenever I got moved. But anyways, before we get into this deck profile, down in the description, if you feel like supporting the channel, you can use the Teespring links to get yourself some awesome Invoked 101 merch, as well as Angel of Alchemy's new Nubbins merch. There's also a link where if you want to get yourself a cool custom playmat or custom sleeves, you can use the Your Playmat link in my description, and that'll give you 10% off at checkout. You can also join the Discord right there, and I think that's about it. Oh, our social media. Social media links are also down in the description. So with that all said, let's get into this. All right. First off, I am playing 2 Reliona because I sold my 3rd one because I needed money. Yeah, back when this card came out, it was played in Shadal's, it was played in a few different decks, and I had 3. I ended up selling either the set and picking up these 2, or selling one of them. I can't remember which. But she is the most important one, and if I had a 3rd one, I'd be playing it. But anyways, she is a, like all the Magistus, she is a spellcaster with a different attribute and is level 4. She has 818 stat-wise, and if this card is normal or special, you can activate one of these effects. Add a Magistus spell or trap from your deck to your hand, or return a banished level 4 or lower spellcaster to the graveyard. Then she has the effect of, you can banish this card from your graveyard, target a Magistus monster you control, and equip it with 1 Magistus monster from your graveyard except a level 4. You can only use each effect of Reliona once per turn. So the reason she banishes herself from the graveyard is because and also recovers banished level 4 or lower spellcasters, is because she's also kind of supposed to work with the Witchcrafters, which this would revive your Shemitas and your Jennies. So, and then she banishes herself from the grave like the other Witchcrafters do, because this is of course Witchcrafter Madame Veer. But yeah, so very cool. She is extremely good and is probably the best one. My personal favorite one, and this guy's the main Magistus man, is Zeroa Magistus of Flame. Now, I don't know if he's actually in another archetype or if he's just like the Magistus man, but let me know because I have no clue. He's a spellcaster tuner with 15/15 fire, and his effect is you can target 1 Magistus monster you control, equip it with 1 Magistus monster from your extra deck. If this card becomes equipped with a Magistus monster card, you can special summon 1 level 4 spellcaster monster from your hand or grave in defense position, except Zeroa, but its effects are negated. You can only use each effect of Zeroa, the Magistus of Flame, once per turn. Now, what really kind of sucks about him is it directly conflicts with Artemis, because Artemis, while she's equipped, you can search a level 4, you can search a Magistus monster from the deck, and he just instantly special summons one the second he gets equipped. So it kind of sucks, and also he negates its effect, so if you have a really engrave and you try to special it, it doesn't go off. So he's not super great, but for extending and getting out the Synchro monsters and the Xyz monsters, which the Xyz monster is amazing, so he's perfectly sufficeable. Then we have 3 Endymion, the Magistus of Mastery, which obviously is Endymion. His effect is you can target a Magistus monster you control, equip it with a Magistus monster from your extra deck, much like Zeroa. And then it says you can target 1 face-up spell card you control, destroy it, and if you do, draw a card. Then place 1 card from your hand on the bottom of the deck. You can only use each effect of Endymion of Magical Mastery of whatever, Magistus of Mastery once per turn. He has 13, 17, so pretty okay stats on him, and he is searchable using Spell Power Mastery. Even though I'm not playing that card because I felt that he wasn't good enough to do that for. Next up, we have my boy Crowley, the Magistus of Grimoire. He's a dark level 4 spellcaster with 18-1000, so reversed Alistair stats, and it says you can send 1 spellcaster from your hand or face-up field to the graveyard, special summon this card from your hand. Then he says you can declare 1 attribute, and this card becomes that attribute until the end of this turn. You can banish this card from your graveyard, target a Magistus monster you control, equip it with 1 Magistus monster from your graveyard except a level 4. You can only use each effect of Crowley once per turn. So again, this is another one that's kind of meant to work with Alistair, instead, like how Reliona is meant to work with the the Witchcrafters, he's meant to work with the Invoke stuff by changing his attribute. Even though that never really came up, not a lot of people experimented with this in Invoked. Even though like the deal was like if you had this and Alistair, you would summon Alistair, get the invocation, special this by sending Alistair and then invoke, which isn't terrible, but in the same set we got this, so it didn't matter. Anyways, yeah, so really cool. So you have 2 of them that equip straight from the extra deck and 2 of them that equip from the graveyard, and that is fantastic, especially since Crowley's able to special summon himself by discarding a spellcaster. That's kind of nice. I'm also playing 2 Perform Mage Hat Tricker because getting 2 monsters on the board and then continuing to do stuff, you can special summon this. It's just a free extender in this deck. It's also a spellcaster, so you can discard it off Crowley. Then I'm playing 3 Summoner Monk, and this is mainly just to special summon Riliona from the deck to get her effect of searching. It can also get Zeroa, it can get anything, and again, it is a level 4 spellcaster, so it can go into your rank 4s that this deck has, and it can also go into your level 8 synchros. So, pretty cool there. I actually think this deck is slightly better than people give it credit for. I do have hand traps in this deck. I have 3 Ash and 3 Effect Veiler. Pretty stock lineup. I feel like everyone has Ash at this point. And Effect Veiler is Effect Veiler, so if you don't have Imperms, which if you have Imperms from the new Cyber Dragon structure deck, you could put those here instead. This is just what I have kind of set aside for deck profiles. So 6 hand trap slots, and I felt that was fine. Then moving into the spells and traps, we're playing 3 Magistus. This is their continuous spell, and it's actually pretty cool. So it's kind of like a Salamangreat Circle in a way. It says the first time each Magistus monster equipped with an equip card would be destroyed by battle, each turn it's not destroyed. Then it says you can only use one of the following effects per turn of Magistus once per turn, and it says during your main phase you can special summon a level 4 spellcaster from your hand. That's extremely useful. And then it also has the effect of you can send this face-up card to the graveyard, special summon any number of Magistus monsters with different names from your hand. So if you have this and a handful of Magistus, you can summon them out. I do wish that it could revive them from the grave. Like maybe it was like summon 1 from hand, summon 1 from grave, but whatever. It's all right. It's good. I enjoy it. It just gives you more bodies on board. Then I'm playing 2 Magistus Vitra. Vitra is the monster reborn for the archetype, but it also has a little bit of protection. So it says target a level 4 or lower Magistus in your graveyard and special summon it. If a Magistus card in your spell and trap zone would be destroyed by your opponent's card effect, banish this card from your grave instead. You can banish this card from your grave instead. Only use each effect once per turn, but still. A monster reborn that protects your equips from the grave is pretty nuts. I do like that, especially since one of the equip spells is really good, or one of the extra deck monsters is really good for equipping. Then we're playing 1 Thurgy. Thurgy is like the that Noble Knight quick play spell where it equips a Noble Arms. This says target a Magistus you control, equip it with a Magistus monster, except a level 4 from your extra deck graveyard or face-up field. If you have at least 1 each Magistus Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, and Link in your graveyard, you can equip it with 1 non-Magistus Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, or Link from your extra deck instead. You can only use each Magistus Thurgy once per turn. Which, that whole other, like, equip a non-Magistus, like, that has some niche applications, but I don't really think it comes up as often as it should, or, like, just, like, in theory that it would, because, like I said, this is a bit of a weaker deck. And so just equipping the Magistus stuff is also just fine. Plus, there's not a lot of extra deck stuff that even does anything while it's equipped. Then for the last Magistus spell, 1 Magistus Invocation. This is their fusion spell. It says fusion summon a fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as material, including a spellcaster. If fusion summoning a Magistus fusion monster, you can also use monsters in your spell and trap zones that are equipped to Magistus monsters. You can only activate 1 invocation per turn. So really cool, just a nice little twist on the standard invocation. Then for other spells, I'm playing 3 Book of Moon because this deck is bad. And so being able to just stop your opponent from doing more stuff, it really put to getting that extra material. It's another out for Tri-Brigade, it's another out for a lot of stuff. 2 Spellbook of Knowledge, this is just for draw power. It's a spellcaster deck, it's a pure spellcaster deck, so this is pretty nice to have. And speaking of pure spellcaster, 2 Secret Village. If you want to play a terraforming, you can. Terraforming, just throw one in there, or if you want to bump this up, you can. There's tons of flex spots in this deck that you can work around with. Then I'm playing 1 Called by the Grave to stop the hand trap, and then I'm also playing 3 Fiendish Chain. Fiendish Chain is, I'm playing for the same reasons I'm playing Effect Veiler and Book of Moon. It's just one of those cards that stops stuff, and it is a pretty strange one, I will say. But you can, and this is one of those flex spots, you can play whatever. This is something that I would change depending on, like, if I had the other cards I needed, such as the 3rd Riliona. This would get cut by 1, the 3rd Secret Village, this would get cut by 2, and then the Terraforming. So if you want to do that, you could play the Terraforming and Secret Village and the 3rd Riliona. That's what I would do. Or you could cut these for other monsters, such as making the Perform Age package bigger. But that's it for the main deck. Now, I will preface the extra deck real quick with, I wish I had the new Burst of Destiny one, but literally that card was not pulled at all in my area. I have not seen one. I've been asking everyone in the area and who's been opening that set, and it's just not getting pulled, which leads me to believe that that card, either I'm looking for the wrong card or it's not in this set. But anyway, I'm playing 1 Artemis. You can play 2, but the reason I'm only playing 1, because, like, yes, it's good, but I don't think it's worth going into. And since you can equip it from the graveyard or get it back, I don't think you need more than 1, at least, or, like, because you don't really link summon into it, because there's no reason to link into it. Because its effect on field is if you special summon, if you summon a Magistus monster while this is on field, it equips itself to it, which is fine, but that's not a very great effect. So its other effect is while it's equipped, you can add a Magistus monster from your deck to your hand. That's amazing. That's great. But like I said, you don't really go into it, and because Riliona can equip it from the graveyard, you don't really need more than 1 or 2. I'm playing 1 Crowley just because that's kind of a carryover from what was in the extra deck before I changed it. Then I'm playing 2 Iwaz. Iwaz is their fusion monster, and he's really good. So he's a level 8 Fiend Fusion. He needs a Magistus monster and a Spellcaster, so pretty generic at least I feel. And it says, while this card is an equipped card, the equipped monster gains 1,000 attack and defense. During the main phase, quick effect, target 1 other face-up monster on the field, equip this card you control to it. If this card is equipped to an opponent's monster by this effect, take control of the opponent's monster and it cannot activate its effects. You can only use this effect of Iwaz, the Magistus Spell Spirit, once per turn. It's 2028. That is nuts. This is easily the best one to have equipped, especially since it doesn't do anything while it's a fusion monster. You're almost never fusion summoning this except to put it as a body. But the fact that it can steal monsters straight from the back row as like a spell and trap effect, that's awesome. I think this one is easily the best Magistus monster. 2 Vrom, and I would swap 1 Vrom for Zoroa, the Magistus Flame Man, whatever the other level 8 synchro is called, the Zoroa synchro. I think that one's the one to play, because Vrom is not very great. Vrom, he needs a tuner and he's generic, he's a level 8 generic, I guess. And it says this card, as an equipped spell, the equipped monster cannot be destroyed by opponent's spell and trap effects. You can only use each of the following effects of Vrom once per turn. If this synchro summon card is destroyed, you can destroy all face-up cards your opponent controls. At the start of the damage step, if a monster this card is equipped to battles an opponent's monster, you can destroy that opponent's monster. He's 25-29. So he's not terrible as an equipped spell. He is nice, but I don't think that he's worth the 2. But yeah, really cool. I still think Vrom, or Iwaz, sorry, is the best one. Then we get to Ninaru, the Magistus Glass Goddess, which I believe this is a reference to the, what's her name? The level 8 Witchcrafter monster, the Golem. Anyway, Aruru, there we go. Alright, so she's a rank 4 Rock Xyz, and she needs 2 level 4 spellcasters to summon her. While this card is an equipped card, the equipped monster can make up to 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase. You can only use the following effects of Ninaru, the Magistus Glass Goddess, once per turn. You can detach 1 material from this card, then target 1 level 4 or higher spellcaster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. While this card is equipped to a monster, you can target a Magistus card in your spell and trap zone, and 1 spell and trap card your opponent controls, and destroy them. So, really nice little piece of removal there. She is okay, but she is definitely the weakest, in my opinion, out of the Magistus extra deck stuff. Actually, that might go to Artemis, but Nanaru is definitely a follow. Then we have an Xyz monster that you actually do want to summon, and that is Riliona, the Wondrous Magistus Witch Wardrobe. She is amazing. This card is like a savior of this deck, simply because of its main detach effect. So it needs 2 level 4 spellcasters with different attributes, which you can easily do in this deck. And then it says you can detach 1 material from this card, special summon a Magistus monster from your deck. Also, you can't special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn, except Magistus's, which you're gonna special summon Riliona off that effect to get her search, and that's fantastic. Being able to tutor any Magistus out of the deck is fantastic. Then it says, while this card is equipped to a monster, you can target 1 effect monster your opponent controls and negates effects until the end of this turn. You can only use each effect of Riliona once per turn. So while she isn't a quick effect on that negation, she is still really nice to have. And like I said, there's still 5 spots in this extra deck. You could put another Artemis, which I would really only play 2. Like, I wouldn't play any of the Magistus stuff at more than 2. So 2 of that, and then the Zoroas, the new Synchro Zoroa, and then literally whatever else you want to play. Like, whether that be the Nightmare package or other level 8 synchros, you could play literally whatever. But with that all said, that is it for the Magistus deck. Finally got around to it, and like I said, this has been kind of sitting around and I've been putting it off simply because I didn't have everything, and at this point I'm just like, I'd like to get it out of the way and put away, so that way I know where it is, instead of just it's sitting in one of my deck holding tins where I just store a bunch of random decks. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you thought about this deck in the comments below. Of course, as always, let me know what I can do to make this deck better. And while you're down there, feel free to check out the description for all those links I mentioned earlier. With that said, I will see you guys in the next video.